Greetings from California. That's right. You look over my shoulder here, past the garbage on the side of the road, to the distance. This is a real shame. That's Primm right there. We're about 10 miles south of the Nevada-California border, and there's a big solar energy plant also off in the distance there. I am up on Nipton Road. This road will just be in California for a short while here. So you head 10 miles past the border, jump off on Nipton Road, and we're going to go east towards Searchlight and then take 95 back up to Vegas. It's just a nice little loop. Today is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, U.S. holiday. U.S. holiday, Canadian holiday, not necessarily on the same dates in these different countries. What is it? St. Lucia, Liberia, and some places in Germany also do a Thanksgiving, some sort of a Thanksgiving holiday. So I thought today, just a great day for a ride. It's about 60 degrees roughly right now. I don't know, is it 11:30, something like that. The wife is having coffee with friends right now, so I thought, nice opportunity to just do this loop and maybe think a little bit about what does Thanksgiving mean to you. For a lot of viewers outside of US, Canada, St. Lucia, Liberia, and Germany, it's probably going to be, it doesn't really necessarily mean anything. It's a regional holiday. But for us in the US, for a lot of us, it brings back fond memories from childhood and that sort of thing. So I thought it might be a nice opportunity to reminisce a little bit, think about that during this ride, and it's a real pretty path that we take here. So let's hop on the bike. I'm on my 2025 Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE, and it's feeling good, looking good, sounding good. I'm enjoying it. That's my weird Amazon $28 winds fly screen that I mounted to my high-end unit garage mounting bracket. It's a little weird, but whatever. Let's get out there on the road and have a little fun reminiscing about this time of year from years past. So here we are on Nipton Road. This is actually, there's a little town we're going to go through here. Used to have a little shop open down here. It was another nice spot to ride to or drive to, and that shop appears to have closed up permanently. I think they even had a little campground across the street from it, so that's a shame, but it's still a nice ride going through here. It's about, about 30 miles, I believe, until we get to Searchlight, so it's not too long. So on the subject of Thanksgiving, now at its core, it means different things to different people depending on where you're from. Ultimately, though, I think the original tradition for having this celebration was at the end of the harvest for the year. You're coming into autumn or fall, the summer's over, and you've gone out and harvested the crops to prepare yourself for the winter. So it's a celebration of hopefully you had a successful year. You were able to get enough food for your community to survive the winter, and look forward to the following year and hope that things go well the following year as well. So you get together, give thanks for what you've been able to accumulate over the year food-wise, and the fact that your family members are still alive and available. So that's more of the I suppose that's more of the way we looked at it. Was for my family, it was always, it eventually became, I think, my favorite holiday time of the year. Christmas, everybody said, oh, Christmas, but Christmas also for a lot of people, brings along with it a lot of stress. So much effort goes into this gift-giving concept for Christmas, and it puts so much stress on a lot of people, whether it's a money factor, or if it's not a money factor, it's if I don't get just the right things or thing for the people that you care about, does it mean that they're going to think less of me and they're going to think I must not care about them? Or some people you'll hear, geez, if you really listen to me, or if you really know me, you would have gotten me what I wanted. It's like, oh my gosh. So that stress at Christmas time for so many people, and it just brings on a sense of dread versus I think when you're a parent and you have a young child, anywhere between, a couple of years old all the way up until 8, 10, 12, that's exciting. You think about the Christmas Story movie and the parents watching the kids open their gifts on Christmas morning, and then the Red Ryder BB gun, he finally gets that and starts opening it, and the dad is the one that is so excited. I mean, the kid's excited, but the dad is so excited watching him and his joy at getting this. That means a lot as a parent. But beyond that, oh my gosh, it's gotten kind of sad where everybody is just so concerned about gift giving and things. So for me, take it back to Thanksgiving, this is just strictly, in my family history, there's no stress except for the person doing all the cooking, and that's been my wife, depending on the year, for decades now. So there's stress for her in that regard, but for the bulk of the group, it's just simply about getting together and spending time with your loved ones. And it's unfortunate for some of us that we don't do enough of that during the rest of the year. Some of my memories, the best memories were as a child going to my grandmother's house for Thanksgiving in Rochester, Michigan. My brother summed this up the best at my grandmother's funeral, which was, you always felt welcome there. When you went to my grandmother's house, she would greet you at the door, smiling, arms open, give me a hug, and you wanted that hug. It wasn't one that you'd cringe away from. And while you were there, it was, what would you boys like to do with Grandma while you're here this weekend? Would you like to go to the park? Would you like to go sit on the swing out back? Would you like to go to the water park, the toy store, or the what is it, DNC, the dime store in downtown? Whatever. She just had ways of making you feel that you were wanted. She was happy you were there, and let's spend some time together. One of my favorite photos that really nails it is my grandparents were in a motorcycle accident. Pretty bad. They got hit by somebody who was on drugs, and similar issue happened to my father. He was hit on his motorcycle by a drunk driver. So, some nasty stories there, but everybody kept riding. So the photo is me at, I don't know what age I was, 8, 10, 12, sitting on the floor in my grandmother's living room playing, I think it was Atari, playing video games, and she's sitting right next to me with her controller with a cast on her leg and smiling, and we're both just having the great time, and there's me and my grandmother just spending time together. And that's the feeling I would get every time we would gather for Thanksgiving. After a while, we started to host it at my mother's place. My mother had a small motel in mid-Michigan. It was perfect. So, and this was shortly after my grandfather passed. So she had plenty of rooms because that hotel didn't get booked during Thanksgiving. So everybody had a room to stay in. And she had a nice sized kitchen. And a good part of the family would go up, stay at my mother's motel. And eventually my wife took over meal prep. She prepared that giant feast. And it was just great. We would just... The mission was gather together and spend time with each other and catch up and share stories. That's it. That's the only expectation. What a fantastic holiday. And it's... I miss those days. I really miss those days at my grandmother's house and at my mother's house. Both of those were just nothing but happy memories from those times. Oh, I better slow down here. We're coming into the little town of Nipton. Magical Nipton. Alright, I'm sure the speed limit's gonna drop. From what I recall too, they used to have at the other end of town, I don't know if they do on this side, they used to have a police car, an empty police car parked out there just as sort of a deterrent, saying, hey, you're coming into a community, slow down, don't be a butthead. 25 miles per hour here, so let's slow down. And wow, look at all that funky stuff in the back there. Some kind of art. Yeah, the cones are still up. It looks like the store is still closed. This is where there was a little RV park or something over here. It's too bad. Well, maybe it'll come back. There's another place you could come and get lottery tickets. There's the police car that they leave sitting there. Yeah, why not? If you have a spare old vehicle. Nipton treasures. So I recall another Thanksgiving memory here in Vegas was my buddy calls up first thing Thanksgiving morning one year. Oh, I don't know, this was probably 2007 or 8. Hey man, what are you doing? He says, oh, we're just lounging around the house. Let's go for a ride. I'm like, my wife is gonna kill me if I go out for a ride. It's Thanksgiving Day. He goes, oh, come on, just for a couple hours, an hour or two. We're just gonna go over by Nelson and do a little, trail riding over there, and then we'll be back before they even start, food prep is even started. So I look at the wife. She's like, just go. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to get started for a little while anyway. It was pretty early. So we went out. I had my YZ450 and YZ450F, I believe. Whatever. You truck the bikes out, put them on the trails out there. In the Nelson area, there's all kinds of stuff. Well, these guys that we got out there with were billy goats. These are the type of guys that they'll just look at this and go bam, and they'll take off across the desert. They don't care whether there's trails there or not. When you question them on it, they go, guys, what are you doing? You can't do that. They go, how do you think all those existing fire roads and trails got there in the first place? That was us, 50 years ago, but that was us. So yeah, we can do this. And basically the attitude was good luck. I wish them well if they want to try and catch us. So we got to a certain point, and And most of it was on trails. There were just a couple of spots where they would just, oh, let's go up the side of that hill. And we got to one of those spots. Let's go up the side of that hill. Something like that. They're like, let's go. I just looked at my buddy and said, nope, I'm out. I can't do that. I was still too early in my off-road riding mentorship. And he kind of looked at me and goes, oh, here we are back in Nevada. That wasn't too long. He kind of looks at me and said, I'm glad you said it, because I wasn't too crazy about that route they were taking either. So we went back into some of the main regular trails, just having fun, bopping around in some, fire roads, power line roads, stuff like that. I come down into a little gully or a little dip in the thing. It wasn't going that fast, but at the bottom it was solid rocks, but a whole bunch of them, and they were kind of deep. I had no idea. So I got down into those, and the front tire just went whoop, and it just washed right out. The bike went sideways and landed on me. I wasn't hurt, but I was pinned. I couldn't move. I felt like an ass. Fortunately, we always wore proper riding gear back then, so I had full motocross gear, almost all the way up to the knee. My exhaust pipe was laying right on that boot, and the spokes were kind of caught in the buckles on the boot, so I just couldn't move. And I'm thinking, oh geez. And John and I, when we would do these rides, we had an understanding. He was much faster than me, so he'd be ahead, and then stop every once in a while, look back to make sure I was, that I was going to catch up. So I kind of had a good feeling that I was going to be stuck there unless I wanted to wait for 10 or 15 minutes for him to circle back. Eventually, I just, gathered my Hulk strength and let my eyes turn green, ripped off my shirt, and lifted that thing, contorted my body a little bit, and got it off my leg. That was all right. And then, just as that's happening, he pulls up. He's like, "Oh man, what's up? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just did something stupid." And then, but the side of that boot had a nice half-inch melt dent in the side of it where that exhaust was resting on it, and I thought, oh my god, I was so thankful that I had those boots on, because that would have been a piece of my leg missing or cooked away if it hadn't been for that. So good memories. And then since we've been here in Las Vegas, we have our daughter is here, and my mother is close by, so now we get to have annual get-togethers. It's not as big as it used to be back at my grandmother's house or at my mother's motel, but it's still nice. Sometimes we have it at somebody's house. Sometimes we just go to a restaurant in a casino. Just depends on the situation for the year. So that's what Thanksgiving means to me. It's all about these memories of getting together, spending time with family and friends, or people that you consider family, that are friends but have been part of your family as long as you can remember, without any of the stress of what did Joe bring, or what gifts did Joe bring for this holiday event. There are no gifts. It doesn't matter. The gift is we get to spend time with each other and just be there together. So that's why Thanksgiving, for me, is still my favorite holiday of the year. Not to mention, you almost always get the following day off. In the U.S., Thanksgiving's always on a Thursday, and the following Friday, for a lot of people, is also considered a holiday. So that makes it nice too, because you can recover from all the overeating the next day and just sleep it off. And the lesson we take from all this is it's somewhat sad. I'm more guilty than most people I know of waiting until gatherings like this to feel like you're staying connected to those people that mean so much to you. So, with that, hope you and your family and your close friends that you consider family have a wonderful Thanksgiving together this year, and you can enjoy the stress-free time of indulging in all that food at the end of the harvest and all the company that you probably don't spend enough time with during the rest of the year. So, happy Thanksgiving. Thought this would be a nice place to pause and do a closing. This is actually, I've never noticed this sign before, and I'm doing this to a certain extent to remind myself later to look this place up. It says the Wee Thump Joshua Tree Wilderness. Now, I don't know if this is an area we can drive around in, but I'm going to look it up when I get home and see if maybe this is something that we could explore. There's so many Joshua trees in this area. Really pretty, all around in every direction. Mountains in every direction. So it's a really pretty area here. Sure would be nice if this is some little hidden gem that we didn't know about. Have to check it out at home. All right, with that, I'm going to say happy Thanksgiving. Hope you have a great time with your family and friends this year. And if you enjoyed this little video, this little reminiscing Thanksgiving video, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. And till the next one, drive carefully and come back soon. Woo-hoo! All right, enough of that silly stuff.